and the legitimate shock that this was to the system of not just Brian Norman, but the boxing world as a whole. Not expecting the likes of Devin Haney to be able to really do this type of destructive. Wait a minute, hold on, that's the wrong tab. Meant to click on here. Y'all are seeing video on video. I'm thinking I'm clicking the other thing. Hold on now, wait a minute. Let me transition back over into my face. There we go. Okay, but as I was saying, we can call this a very huge fork in the road that would cause this type of split to be inherently needed to happen. But sometimes that would only happen after, two losses or a string of bad fights. And now it's after this one. Granted, it was the highest peak in the mountain that we had seen in Brian Norman Jr.'s career. Nonetheless, it was still that it was a peak that failed. And now leaving, it's dang. Honestly, this, if I may say so myself, kind of is necessary. It's necessary. I think it's necessary. I believe this is the right move. I do, and it's not because I don't like Brian Norman, Senior, as a trainer. Sure, he's a good talker, very fun to listen to. Got a lot of, he brings a lot of pizzazz to any sort of a spectacle in the boxing world. He's a great mouthpiece for his son as an advocate for big fights. Also has got his son to the point that he is able to become a champion. So I have no qualms with that side of the table. But there is a point in time in everybody's career where something's got to give if you want to make that next development up into the larger landscape of the boxing world. We need it. We see it. It happens often. And though it can be a very sketchy situation, it sometimes is necessary to cause the evolution to occur. And now with Brian Norman leaving his dad, we can argue this might be the better move for him, because at this point in time, what we saw from what Brian Norman Sr. was teaching Brian Norman Jr., it got him to a championship level, turned him into a boogeyman, turned him into one of the biggest threats in the division. Absolutely great, we applaud it. But then when it came to taking on the world, the real world, and by the real world, I'm talking about the elite of the elite when it comes to this upper echelon of all boxing stardom, we saw him falter and fail in a way that, to a degree, if we were mentioning words about it and praising the likes of Devin Haney, which again we should have, because again he did the business, and he also shut me up when I was saying that I thought Brian Norman would be able to knock him out. No question there. There's no business to take away from Devin Haney. Brian Norman came to that fight incredibly unprepared, and he was incredibly unprepared. And to a degree, when he talked about the game plan that he went through in that fight, as you can see with more, if you listen to more of that Cigar Talk interview with Brian Norman Jr., he had a game plan that he was supposed to go through and box and stick and try to steal rounds in the early part of the fight, but not necessarily go guns blazing. His father told him in the corner after round one, which they won round one, his father then afterwards said, go in and dog him out. That's what he said. This is a quote. This isn't me saying it. This is Brian Norman saying it in the interview. His dad said, go and dog him out after round one. Not going to keep on trying to, steal rounds and be smart. Go and dog him out. And it ended up being the worst demise possible. And then it got to a point where he was too far gone, and he had to just stick with that game plan, and he couldn't really change anything. Hence why we saw that complete one-sided affair. That type of coaching is horrible. That's terrible. That's abysmal. That's problematic. That is that. We got some problems here. Some would argue for the caliber of fighter that we see with like Brian Norman Jr. And against the likes of Devin Haney. You can't just be saying that in such a simplistic way, especially when you see, okay, there is a game plan that is working, and now you're trying to push the envelope and it backfired to such a degree that there was no turning back. That's not good. That's not good at all. More than not good. That is an indictment on you as how you feel and as how you go through in making and developing a game plan. Brian Norman's an incredible talent. Brian Norman's an incredible fighter. Brian Norman Jr. is a man who can still become a champion in the future. But if this type of stagnation of the Devin Haneys of the world and others of the like that are at his level as well, welterweight or beyond, which again, there ain't many people at welterweight that are again on Devin Haney's level, understandable. Devin Haney is the best pound for pound welterweight in the world, number one, and there is no other. He proved, no question. But with the likes of, even with Ryan Garcia in the midst of this division also, Mario Barrios in the division also, this type of fighter, though he still has quality, there's still so much growth that needs to happen. And if he doesn't grow correctly, there is going to be a hard cap on what he can do for his career. There's going to be a hard a distinction of where he is versus everybody else that is potentially moving on from him or elevating above him as time goes on, if this change did not happen. Again, and granted, if you've heard the comments from his father is salty. His father is sounding very much not happy with this whole situation. As you can see, themselves. Now, I'll let you read, or I'll let you hear his response to him being demoted, per se, as coach for the likes of Brian Norman Jr. As we switch back over to the world of picture and picture real quick. Here you go.
For the people asking the question of, will I be in the corner to some magnitude? I know that's a big question that people want to know, and they want you to ask.
And to a degree, also, viewer discretion is advised. Do apologize for any language coming into play. We'll try to be fan friendly or brand friendly. Wink, wink, just so you know.
I will not. I will not be in the corner at all. Can you imagine me being second to somebody else? I can't. You feel me? I'm a realist. I can't play second fiddle to nobody. You can't put me in front of a dish and I'm making up a gourmet meal, and then you're gonna replace me with another chef and tell me I gotta be this nigga assistant. Nah, you kiss my head. I don't do that.
And see, and again, I understand the frustration. I get it. But at the same breath, without this change and without this move in development, well, if we want to call Brian Norman Sr. a gourmet chef, well, this chef is going to create a disaster down the line because his recipe isn't working because he didn't go and look at what he was dealing with the newfound equipment. He's dealing with now an elevated kitchen with elevated competition. The same stuff that worked back when you were cooking in a different situation, it can still work. But at some point also there's got to be a level of real and intricate dissection to help make that dish even better. And as a gourmet chef, you cannot go and tell your other sous chefs, for those of you who watch The Bear, as I love that show on Hulu, but you can't tell your other assistants and chefs around you something that is going to degrade the dish just because, hey, it worked before. You're dealing with a different level of palate and a different level of food. You got to be a little bit more integral. You can still be who you need to be and shift and change where you need to change. But as of this moment right now, as we saw in that Devin Haney fight, there was no shift and change. There was a straight up, straightforward situation. Even Brian was thinking, okay, hey, the game plan was, I thought it was going to be, we were going to legit try to box with this kid. And we won round one. It seemed like it was working fine. And then you telling me, okay, dog it out like he's ready to go? What the world? Wait a minute. That is horrible. That's terrible. All the confidence in the world got you beat up and you couldn't say a thing to help your own son out. You couldn't say anything to help develop and to create something new to help turn this fight around. Granted, there was some improvement in the second half of the fight, understandable. But it was still the same way, because then you fell into a whole nother situation where you got knocked down, you got outboxed, and then when you actually were landing, you couldn't fight out of the clinch and couldn't keep Devin Haney from stopping your momentum that you were gaining. And yet again, getting jabbed to Kingdom Come, and then just moved around the ring like a fiddle, or played like a fiddle around the ring. There was nothing you could do. That's on you as a coach, as much as it's a fighter to try to make adjustments while he's in the fight. You got a minute in the corner to tell him what you've seen and what he's able to garner, and you didn't do that. And you saying you couldn't be behind somebody as a second fiddle? Well, that's to some degree, not even to some degree, to a big degree, that's just pride stepping in the way. That's just pride. That's just pride. And again, mind you, your son is also a prideful man as well. As he said, when we talk about when he talked about what he was doing or what he thought he was going to do going into this fight, which I'll play in a little bit, but it will play into this conversation. But both of y'all got a lot of pride, which you should. You absolutely should. But at the same breath of that pride, there is a real understanding that sometimes your pride has to take a back seat to be able to make the necessary step to improve and turn yourself into the best version of yourself. Sometimes, yeah, you still being on the team, you still being there, even if you're not in the leading position, is the best thing for your fighter. Being a coach and assistant it's not bad if you can find a coach that can not just gel with you and your fighter, but even if you want to keep the same sentiments of ideology. There are coaches out there that think like you, but they are better at what you do. That might be the best for Brian Norman. Would you still be able to give advice? Because again, it has worked up until this point. But you can't be saying that you're just gonna be all hands off when you've been this integral, and your son probably still would want you around, at least allegedly, or rather inferred. There's got to be a sense of not just accountability on what you weren't able to do, but a sense of malleability in who you are as a fighter and as a coach. It works both ways. You can have a structure, you can have a brand, you can have an identity. Absolutely. At the same breath, you have to have a means of adaptability in your own right to be able to say, yeah, we gotta move like we need to move. And at this point in time, I think it's the right move. Mind you, Brian Norman's 24, 25 years old. With the amount of talent that he has laden within him, he gets a proper coach that's able to go through and bring out the best in him, teach him how to box, teach him how to be a better mover, teach him how to be able to anticipate a lot better on the defensive end and adapt to what his opponent's doing. Get a coach that's able to give him quality adaptations against a multiplicity of fighters and styles within every round without having to go just switch straight up. We dogging them out. You got the makings of a fighter that can be a champion yet again in the very near future, dare I say by the end of the year. It's possible. Absolutely. Because he's that good. He's that good. But Brian just ain't the guy to do it. Brian Norman Sr. just ain't the guy to do it. If any, and I'm going to tell you this, and again, I might be a big fan of his, but I think it's still bold correct. If anything, I would love to see, especially with the amount of power that he's got at his disposal, I would love to see Bo Mack train Brian Norman Jr. I would love to see that if it can be happening. I would love to see that. Imagine Brian Norman Jr. with a Bo Mack type of training and mentality. A man who helped take another man in Terrence Crawford to reign for over, from 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, reign for 7 years without getting anything except a knockout in Terrence Crawford. Sweep a welterweight division. Why don't you take the man who trained that beast and apply that to you then? You go under his stable. You go under his regime. You go and train with the man that Keyshawn Davis said Nah, we ain't. I gotta reset my own environment. Take him on. Let him be your guy, and watch what he can do. Watch what he can do, and I guarantee you, they pair up with each other. My gosh, I would love it. I would love it. I would absolutely. That would spell huge trouble. That would spell huge trouble for anybody else involved with this fight. I'm telling you, it would be insane. It would be absolutely insane. But even still, at least that's my opinion on the whole situation of Brian Norman dropping. And oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot to play the clip real quick before we move on to the next segment. And also, Love King, I see you in the chat down below. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show with us on today, on this Tuesday, or excuse me, on this Thursday afternoon. We appreciate you joining in on the ride with us as we're having our fun entertainment on the Welch Report. Absolutely. Let me see. Javante can't get right. Tank Davis, shake my head. And yeah, look, we about to cover that as the next topic of discussion. Don't worry, I got a bunch to say about this whole situation. We're gonna break down all the findings, all the investigative evidence, all the now video evidence that they got in police custody. Oh yes, indeed, we're gonna talk about it all. But just give me 1 second to finish off this last point with Brian Norman Jr. And then we're gonna switch gears, absolutely. But real quick, as we're still diving in, let me play this clip in regards to the Brian Norman and what he has said in reference to the pride that he had going into that fight with Devin Haney, and how he, like the rest of us, underestimated the power that Brian Norman had, or that Devin Haney had.
Oh, and it wasn't just y'all saying that.
Excuse me, that Devin Haney had at his disposal. Let me play the clip right now for you all to witness and to listen to. Let me make sure y'all can see it. Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all can't see it, correct? Okay, yes, y'all can see it. Okay, good. Here you go.
Like, fans were saying that. A lot of people were saying that, like, yo, Devin don't really got no power. Do you feel like y'all underestimated, I guess, his power, like the way the fight went or how you felt in the fight?
Yes, that's what I was talking about with the ego thing and regarding not respecting him as a straight up human. You get what I mean? So, it was just.
Also, I forgot, viewer discretion is advised. Apologies for any strong language. We're trying to be brand friendly. Like I said yet again, wink, wink, thumbs up, and all that stuff. Hey.
I can cuss on this.
Yeah, for sure.
It was just straight up fuck everything you got going on. Like, I'm finna come and beat your ass. Fuck everything else. It was just that, you feel me? But like I said, in the camp, that's what I was trying to focus on regarding, the mental work, this, that, and the third. Really pull things out that I need to pull out. But I just could get shoved in a little box, you feel me? So come fight time, fight week being more specific, it was like I was trying to hold everything together, but we here now. You gotta just fucking embrace it, you feel me? So I just said, fuck it, we embracing this thing. Yeah. So that's when I just said, fuck him, fuck everything he got going on, fuck his toes, goddamn fuck his clothes, you feel me? So,
everything. Yeah. Right. All right, hold up.
That speaks to, again, he's 25. The brashness we love, we support it. But this is a part of the the growth process of somebody like Brian Norman Jr. at this point in time. Hey, came out guns blazing, but this is the price that you pay when you talk a lot. Sometimes you have to deal with this type of situation. You have to deal with this type of drama, and now, hopefully, with this pride still in him, but now exposed to a degree of okay, I know who I need to be now, and I also know what I need to do if I'm going to talk like that, what I got to turn into to back this up at all times. Getting rid of his dad might have been the best thing. Getting in and shifting gears, I think, is a very quality perspective, at least in my opinion. But nonetheless, let me see what you all got to say. And we got a whole bunch of people still in this chat real quick. Like Timmy T, what's going on with that, hey, buddy? I ain't seen you in a minute. What's going on, Timmy? Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're here with us on today. And I see, guys, I see you chatted a lot. And we're about to touch on the tank stuff real quick. But let me touch on your thing one more time about Brian Norman. Brian Norman Sr. was on Mill City breaking down the fight, putting out a lot of blame on his son. Again, here's the problem. From one of, and I'm looking for the clip, but I can't find it. But like I said earlier, one of the clips that we saw from this interview or in Brian Norman talking about this fight was saying, yo, my pops told me, dog him out. After round one, we were gonna go and fight, dog him out. And you try to put the blame on your fighter. It's not all his blame. It's not all his blame. It's not, what is that? Not trying to just have a sense of, accountability. It's a two-way street. Again, if anybody plays, I'm a big video game fan. Hey, I like video games. Mario Racing, what was it, Double Up Tag Team? I forget what it was called, but like essentially you could have two people driving in a car and controlling the car to help make that thing go and throwing items at people. It was a very fun game. But the point being, it takes two people to go through and make that thing work. In boxing, it's the same way. It takes two people to make this fight, any fight for that matter, be effective. As great as somebody can be inside the ring, it's still your job as a coach to let them know, hey, you need to make sure you do this, and this as well, to give them the proper proper advice and tools to be able to go and make the best of this fight. Now, if they don't take it, that's a different situation. But you got it. Again, we could hear in the corner. We could see what you were saying, and it wasn't a bunch of nothing. We could see inside of the ring, it apparently was right in line. The one in words we could see you mouth when you were in the corner, keep getting them, keep dogging them out. That type of stuff. It wasn't good. You did not make a great game plan. You cannot blame your son and fighter to the fullest of extent when we were looking at what you had propagated as a core, fundamental way to beat Devin Haney that wasn't working after round two, and you kept with the same thing with no adjustments at all on your end, saying you got to do something different. It wasn't. It was bad. You were bad. As bad as Brian Norman was in the ring against Devin Haney, you were just as bad with making Bill Haney's life even easier by not giving him a sliver of advice to help change anything. The more so the success that was garnered from Brian Norman that we were saying worked in the second half of the fight was all because Brian Norman actually landed something. But like I said at the start of the show, even after that, what happened? When Devin Haney kept on stifling the offense by trying to clinch, you didn't tell him to fight out. You didn't tell him to stop overextending. You didn't tell him to feint in or throw a double jab with a half step instead of full step coming into Devin Haney to go and bait him into trying to clinch, and then you can catch him with the uppercut, or you can take a half step back and catch him with a straight right as he's trying to stop you. You didn't say any of that. You didn't say anything about trying to cut off the ring in a better, more effective standpoint. You didn't say anything about using uppercuts on the inside and fighting with your free hand when he was in the clinch. You didn't say anything about attempting to use that strength that you all kept on training to try to give Devin Haney a sense of more physical imposing standpoint, rather physical imposing fighting against, when he was able to walk you down and walk you to wherever he wanted to go when he was the one that was clinching you up. You didn't do anything. That's not a Brian Norman problem solely. That is a you problem. If you can't see that, you as a coach is going to be no wonder. No wonder he left you. You know why? Because as a coach, you have taken him to a ceiling, and we applaud what you've done and what you have been able to get Brian Norman to. But there is now a clear-cut disadvantage at the all-world level that you bring to the table, that if Brian Norman doesn't let you go now and get somebody else that has been able to teach and adapt and grow other fighters to be able to compete at this all-world level, you are going to be stagnant while everybody else passes you by. If you want to be a part of the train still, yes, go be an assistant. Go be another coach under the new main coach. Hopefully it's Brian, or hopefully it's Bomac if I was to choose. But regardless of which, if you don't do that and don't get with the program, well, guess what? It might be good that you're gone. It might be good that you're gone. It might be good that you're gone. It might be. It very much could be. Mind you, at 147 now, it's Devin Haney, Brian Norman, Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao. All those names, as much as we were saying that Brian Norman was invincible, or rather was the biggest dominating threat at 147. Now that's completely turned on its head. Not just for against Devin Haney, but for a lot of people, even for the likes of Ryan Garcia. Let's say Ryan Garcia beats Mario Barrios. Next thing you know, if we see Ryan Garcia look good against Barrios and Brian Norman gets a shot at him if the Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney thing doesn't take place, or even just as a dream matchup, guess what we're going to be saying? Well, you saw what, if Devin Haney was able to catch you and clock you, buddy, what do you think Ryan Garcia is going to be able to do against you? Right now, you're on the back burner at this point. People that we were saying that have regressed, we're saying, hey, they can put you out quick and easy at this point in time. Because of where we see your stagnation on an all-world level. And you, as the trainer, as the coach, built this flaw. You built this flaw. As much as it's as Brian Norman's fault for not being able to adjust inside of the ring. And as much as it is that Devin Haney outclassed him, it's also as much that Brian Norman Sr. could not make a qualitative game plan to help turn that fight around in a proper way. So it's not on him. So it's on the coach. It is. And if you're going to say I can't be a second fiddle, no, I can't be an assistant or helping out no other man, you can't see me as somebody that's working behind somebody else, well, good, because if that's the case, it might be better. It might be just my opinion. It might be so much better. We got a lot of people chatting in the chat right now. I'm gonna say what's up, and I'm gonna go back to Timmy T, and I'm working my way back down. But let me see, Ryan Grace, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today. We're so glad that you're here with us, joining in on the live right now. Let me see, Boxing Academy as well. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today on this Thursday afternoon. Well, hopefully you're having fun on your job, at your work. If you are here, please leave a like on the stream. Comment your thoughts and opinions. Keep on subscribing to the channel. We got a whole bunch of topics that we're going to have to discuss on today. And so we're so happy to be here with you all. And so, hey, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Keep on liking the stream. Please do. Keep on sharing the show. And if you want to give to the show, hey, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, as well as super gifts and super chats and all that stuff, stickers and whatnot. Helps to support the show. Help me to pay some bills. And helps keep this show going. Absolutely, because I can't do this without you until we get some sponsors, which hopefully, hey, we'll be eking up the ladder to get there. But it's all with you and your support. And just by watching this channel, you help us out oh so much. Absolutely. But let me keep on reading what you all have to say so I can make sure that I get everybody's perspective. Let me see. Norman Sr., the next day after Devin schooled his son, he was on Mill City and said that wasn't the move. Yep, he did. Terrible optics. You're absolutely right. He is too worried about beefing with Greg Haddock rather than getting better as a trainer. Absolutely. It's a lot of drama. And it's terrible. And again, I'm glad you agree. And hopefully, other people might agree as well, but I just want to see what you all have to say. And just from a fan perspective, Norman Sr. in the ring instructions were horrendous. Yes, it wasn't from a boxer perspective. His instructions were bad. Absolutely, they were bad. No question. No question about it, and it's a shame. I'm curious to see who Norman picks as a head trainer. I would love to see who you all would think. Like I said, my best pick, Bomac. Put Brian Norman with Bomac. He's got an open vacancy because of the fact that Keyshawn Davis let him go. Put him in that type of regime with that type of power. I would love to see what that could create for a real monstrous fighter. It's just in my opinion, because we've seen the work he's done before, but we're going to have to wait and see how it goes. Brian Norman needs to rematch Haney, Ryan Graves. Now, look, I don't know if we should rematch him now. He'll be, at this point in time, it'll be the same thing over and over. And Ryan, Norman will beat the brakes off of Ryan right now. Like I said, for me, I can't say that. And this is because, again, we saw, without the greatest technical ability, what Ryan Garcia was able to do with the likes of, again, Devin Haney, again, at his best. Though, again, Oscar. Then we saw him get KO'd by Romero at his worst. Understandable. Off Oscar. So it's a slippery slope from the standpoint of optics and perspective of whether or not Ryan Garcia can and could not just straight up whitewash the likes of Brian Norman, or if Brian Norman would completely cold clock the likes of Ryan Garcia. That's a fight that, again, is we can say one side or the other may be or should be favored. Absolutely fine. No problem there. Issue is, though, with how we're seeing, with what we saw with him getting completely dog walked and outspeeded with hand speed, as well as knocked down, hurt bad. And if Devin Haney was a more offensive fighter, probably would have gotten knocked out in that second round if Devin Haney hadn't took his foot off the gas. It's not bad for me to assume that Brian Garcia would be able to knock out the likes of Brian Norman Jr. It's not bad for me to think that. If we put Ryan Garcia in that same situation where he was hurt and Brian Norman was ready to go, Ryan's getting him out of there. With how bad he was looking that second round, even when he was still trying to recover in the third, he would have gotten out of there. It would have been ugly. And so we need to see a new form of boxing identity. We need to see a change, and that's why I'm happy that this is indeed happening. Let me see. Yo, I love you. 281. What's going on with you? How you doing? Love you too. Appreciate you joining in on the show. So happy that you're here with us on today. What's up with you? And hopefully you're enjoying the show as a whole. I scored the Haney Norman fight as a draw. Well, look, I respect it. I had that fight clean and well and good in the likes of Devin Haney's favor because of the fact that he won nearly all the first 5 rounds, except for the round 1, and then round 2. Yes, he was. Or then in round a couple would knock down in round 2, and then also with the ability of him to, it was clinching up, and I hated the second half of the fight, but he was just securing the win, like he's done multiple times before. Just don't get knocked down, don't get hurt, and just keep on moving. I've bagged enough rounds in the bank. Now I can just go and do whatever and just not get hit and touched. That's what he did. So that's why I had that fight as a win for the likes of Devin Haney. But as we keep on going through, see, I want to talk about in the world of boxing today, as with a lot more drama in the world of Gervonta Davis. Yes? Oh my indeed. Lord. Can it get any worse than what it's already gotten? Can rock bottom fall even further? And right now, it's looking like it can. If you did not know, as we're changing gears into the world of Tank Davis, Gervonta Davis has now been not just wanted by police, but there is now video evidence of the altercation that took place on or in that nightclub that we covered a couple of months ago that caused him to have to get pulled from the fight with Jake Paul due to the whole due to the whole investigation that was occurring at that point in time. It was indeed a very, and I do mean very, sketchy situation. I'll even play the clip right now for you all to be able to hear what the official police department had to say in regards to what this report is saying. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. It's like, when I say it's bad, it's bad. And normally we try to keep it straight up boxing. Y'all know me. But this is important to discuss because it paints a bigger picture involving the straight up in-ring world of boxing that we need to cover with Gervonta Davis. But I'll let the police department say themselves their official findings in regards to everything with Tank Davis on that nightclub incident that now has them searching. Make sure y'all can see it. Now has them essentially on a manhunt searching for this man for an arrest.
We are here to address a domestic violence incident involving professional boxer Gervonta Davis, also known as Tank. Out of respect for the victim's rights and privacy, the victim's identity will not be released in accordance with Marcy's law. On October 29, 2025, at approximately 2:15 p.m., the victim entered the Miami Gardens Police Department accompanied by her attorney to report an incident that occurred on October 27, 2025. According to the victim's statement, at approximately 4:15 a.m. while working, the victim was approached by Mr. Davis. The victim reported that Mr. Davis grabbed her by her back of her head, pulling her by her hair with one hand and by her throat with the other. He forcefully escorted her down a stairway and toward the parking garage while maintaining his grip on the back of her head. Upon reaching the parking garage, the victim reported that Mr. Davis released her, at which point she was able to run towards her coworkers for safety. The victim further reported that she has known Mr. Davis since 2022, and they were previously involved in an intimate relationship for approximately 5 months, which ended about a month prior to the incident. Lead detective Gary Florencio obtained and reviewed video surveillance footage that corroborates key elements of the victim's statement. As a result of the diligent and hard work of our Special Victims Unit, an arrest warrant has been issued for Gervonta Bryant Davis on the following charges: battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. The investigation determined that Mr. Davis used force to restrain and attempt to remove the victim from the location against her will. At this time, the Miami Gardens Police Department is actively working with the United States Marshals Fugitive Task Force to locate and apprehend Mr. Davis.
Whoo! Oh gosh, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh Lord. Oh, okay. Well, all I can say is, oh no. Oh no. Oh, he's done. Oh, he's done. Oh, he's done. Oh, that brother. Oh, who? Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's really, oh gosh. When mind you, I said previously everything was alleged. When I covered this, I said everything was alleged when we talked about this. And I said everything was alleged when we delved into how bad this could be for him with this. As to why he went and got doxxed out of, not get doxxed, as he got left or lost the opportunity for the easiest fight with him against Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Lost on opportunities to fight at 140 with all the speculation of, I'm back, I'm coming through, we about to make some moves, and now, my word, we're back at, this is worse than square one, but this is essentially a manhunt. Because again, I had said it's alleged, and now that it's been official, I can finally say, yeah, it's confirmed. He did that. There ain't no more alleged about it. I'm not gonna be held liable for nothing. He did that thing. They got video proof. They got video evidence corroborating with everything that the woman had said in regards to this. And as you can see, Timothy is also as the video, as the officer said, and as well as Timothy also put in the chat, U.S. Marshals are looking for the brother, are looking for this man. Brother, it is a manhunt. Do y'all get this? Do y'all understand? There's a manhunt for this cat. There's a manhunt for this dude to get taken in. This is horrible. And this is like, to some degree, not even to some degree, to every degree that I've been saying about this man's career, this is why I have always said that this man is going to self-destruct, and he can't be the face of this sport. And this is bigger than just the face of boxing talk. This is an indictment that I've had on Tank for a litany of years because of the fact that in ring and out of ring, he can't hold himself responsible. And it's frustrating because we know the talent that he can be. But inside of the ring, he's cheating himself out of legacy, and outside of the ring, he's disqualifying himself out of the ability to even get a legacy. And this is what, and when the crazy thing was, remember the conversation? He needed to get himself right, or else there wouldn't be, he might, he wants to get therapy, he wants to get all the stuff fixed and stuff. Well, it might have been better if you went on and did it. Go on and get whatever help that you needed. Because at this point in time now, the self-implosion is getting, it's mighty destructive. It's looking, it's starting to get, eerily similar to what we've seen with others in the boxing world. Mike Tyson and others of the like, where they fell off the deep end. And I use the title of drama, not because this is drama, this is real life. I even said in the past, this could end Tank's boxing career. By choice or by force, either you walk away from this game or you're going to get ripped away from the game. And now it looks like by force, you're about to get ripped away from the game. You're about to. And depending on how this sentence may go, when you win, because they're going to catch you. They're going to catch you one way or another. If this goes bad, this is like, and again, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm only going to say one thing. Well, two things. One, this was a scary reality that I didn't want to see Tank go down. Sadly, we're here. And two, this is one of the reasons why I was very skeptical that Tank would fight again. And that retirement, it is indeed, or rather it was more than just a conversation piece. Back of mind, it was always the case. I kept Spence kept on saying he won't fight again. Though it's looking like he might fight Tim Tszyu, which we can discuss. But Tank, similar road to Spence. As much as he says he's coming back, as much as he said he's fighting, he wants to fight at 140 and all that stuff, his own actions will take him out of this sport. His own actions. And the surrounding people that have been not able to help corral him. Not saying it's Calvin Ford, because knowing him, he probably just done the best that he can, but others that he's put in place have made it so that by not his own volition, but by his own actions, he's caused himself to potentially end everything that he was trying to be. And now it's caught up with him. All that stuff, all of the emboldening by the fans and public, all of the excuses made by his own supporters, all of that, everything getting thrown under the rug, everything getting put in a situation where he's excusable because he's the face of boxing. He can do what he wants. All of that created this monster that we have in a bad way with how Tank operates in life, not just in the ring. And it's a shame because we've seen this, again, Mike Tyson self-imploded. He had everything. And then what happened? He went through and coupled with Don King as a slumdog type of promoter, as well as the people that surrounded Tyson after he got fame, that he led into a circle that kept enabling what the baddest man on the planet could do because he was the baddest man on the planet. Without somebody being able to take a custom honor role of holding him down, saying, hey man, you can't be this. You see what type of monster that created. Even Tyson, by his own volition, said that. Now, sadly, we may be seeing that story again, and it's a shame. And I hate it. And it's really sad. That's the biggest thing I can say. No hate. No, they're trying to harp on or jump on the train of I beat them while they're down. It's just sad. Because we knew what could be. And now all of that can be ripped away without a moment's hesitation. Will be ripped away without a moment's hesitation. Just like that. So you always got to watch what you do. Surround yourself with people that can keep you in check. Because right now, this is the catalyst if you let things get too far. patterns get unchecked. Freedom become, I don't want to say too free, but freedom without a compass can quickly turn into danger. Just like that. That's what we're seeing, and it really is a shame. Let me see what you all guys say. Can we talk boxing, not gospel? Yeah, we are. Don't worry, we're changing gears, but it's just we have people in the chat wanting to say this is too big of a thing not to ignore that we needed to discuss. Because again, this could spell the definitive end to Tank's boxing career inside the ring. But again, it's bigger than boxing, so we had to. It is something that we need to, at least harp on, because it'll be a fool we're not gonna LARP on it, because again, we keep it with, serious topics. We take them seriously, and then we go and transition on. That's what we're trying to do right now. Listen, since 2020, when Tank gripped the woman up, a basketball game has been nothing but criminal charges and allegations. It has, and it's like we said before, it's a sad pattern that we hoped would stop, but it's just. I mean, it's a shame. Let me see. It's not gossip. Tank is literally wanted, martial actor, and all this stuff. And again, like we're moving on. But it's sad to see. It really is sad to see. But we have to talk about it. But we don't want to talk about it. And my gosh, we'll see where the chips may fall afterwards. But like I said, this is a grade that he kind of dug himself into, and so we kind of just have to see how it pans out, because he built this house of cards with his actions, knowing better. And sadly, consequences come. Sadly, these are consequences that take place afterwards. We're still, we're going to touch on other stuff involving the world of boxing, like with some more developments in the world of De La Hoya and Virgil Ortiz with these negotiations. I'm telling you, every single day that I cover this topic, something new gets turned about and something else gets divulged. In it all. Something else gets divulged in all of it. And now we're seeing that Oscar De La Hoya and Virgil Ortiz's manager, but they butting heads with each other. It's gone from negotiation, fighting with Eddie Hearn and Oscar, trying to get a fight with Virgil, but now it's Oscar De La Hoya and stinking Ortiz's manager. And it's people saying, hey buddy, you're messing up what we want to get going on. We want to fight. Why are you saying negotiations stopped with this fight and this is the biggest payday? You can't be going out here saying that type of stuff, and we know good and well we want this going through. And now it's like a situation where now Oscar put out a statement against the likes of De La Hoya, or of Oscar De La Hoya put out a statement against the likes of Ortiz and his manager saying, hey, let me handle my business. I'll even let y'all see it for yourselves as we transition over into picture-in-picture real quick to let you see the exact quote of what was said. This was posted by Virgil Ortiz's manager saying, we're not moving on. We never even participated in this negotiation, and it's our contractual right to, but we will now. And let me see, try at least, I believe I'm trying to see what it says at the bottom. The zone tried to at least talk to people that have contractual right and authority to make the deal. That's usually how it works and how it gets it done. We're here to discuss, and I'm easy to reach. That is in regards to, again, Rick, what is that, migraine? Is it Rick Miragon? Is it Miragon? Migraine, been acting like a migraine for the past couple of weeks. I'm not going to lie with the way he's been moving in these types of, with how we've been covering this whole saga. But now he's taking a stand saying, hey, don't try to say that this ain't going down, because trust me, it's going down. And so now we got some internal turmoil. We got some internal trouble. We got some struggle. We got some strife. We got some problems. You're doggone right, Jim Ross. We got some major problems going up right now. And everybody wants this fight to take place. But my gosh, if it doesn't, I'm telling y'all, that's why I put out that short. It's going to be on Oscar De La Hoya, because even as this is going through, Even as this is going through, and also we got people in the super chats right now. Like what? Hey, Timmy T with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for supporting and giving alms to the Empire. I even forgot to put my chat goal of 10 chats from people in regards to of any amount. I forgot to put that up here at the start of the show. Doggone it. That way we can give a little bit of incentive to add an extra hour to the show if it pleases the public eye. Let me in fact add that right now, but as I'm gonna read your chats real quick. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay, yes indeed, but let me see. What what the world you think virtual boots happens in 2026? I do think it does. I do. Because like I said, at this point in time, the momentum is so high. The monetary value is so much. And Virgil's team is now going at it against the likes of Oscar De La Hoya saying, yo, we want this to take place. We dealing with the situation where everybody, the only person that looks like doesn't want the fight to happen is Oscar himself. Because trust me, if this was the case where okay, it would be a sign that it wouldn't happen. It would be if we were seeing Rick or the manager of Ortiz going through and continuing to not give any signs of life that, hey, we are willing to talk. We are willing to make this happen. We may want the lion's share of the money. We may want the most that we can get out of it, but we do want this fight. Don't walk away from the table just yet. At least he's giving that. And that gives us signals that, okay, there's still some life that this can take place and that we will see it. So I'm believing that we're going to get that fight. Absolutely. It is now on De La Hoya to let stuff start going through. And also, MS, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today. Hopefully, hey, look, you got any tidbits on what's going on behind the scenes with this whole negotiation table? Because at this point in time, it's just something that we don't know that you may know. You can devolve to us like you did last time. Like I said, every time you come in here, I'm on pins and needles because I don't know what may come from your voice and from your fingertips with what you may just break for us on the show. But in all seriousness, we're just glad that you're here sitting back and enjoying our, entertainment. Hopefully you're having some fun with us as you're here on this Thursday afternoon. But again, this is just a response from the promoter. As we go and look at the response from De La Hoya himself, well, he's got some stuff that he wanted to say as we get to the verbatim quotes from Oscar De La Hoya and his whole optics on this situation. And I will read for you all as it's, I think it's a little bit cut off. It might not be. Let me see if I can zoom in just a tad to give you all a better, clear picture. And this is from Oscar De La Hoya himself. As our lords have made it clear, you don't negotiate for Virgil Ortiz's fights. I do. And then at, Rick Miragon or Migraine at Virgil. This is the Virgil Ortiz promoters Instagram account. While you run your mouth, I am the one actually fighting for Virgil to get the A side and get the maximum possible for this fight in terms of revenue. I'm negotiating with Eddie Hearn and DAZN to make this fight happen and will continue to fight for Virgil in those negotiations. You need to get out the way. Wait a minute now. Hold on. Wait a second. Is the building starting to implode on itself? Because it looks like to me that what's going on with the team Ortiz got a bunch of stuff going on in a negative light, and lo and behold, when I said that this stopgap is indeed De La Hoya, I meant it. I did mean it, and now y'all can see it's going down. It's going down for real. Because now it's going to be, because now it's a tug of war. Like I said, we brought up the likes of Jerry Anderson, I think even last week when it comes to, Tuesday, when it came to, he pushed to get that fight with Bacoli, even though his own management and promoters said, yeah, you ain't ready for that fight. He still said, hey, make it happen. Are we going to see the likes of De La Hoya go through and better accommodate to the whims of Virgil Ortiz, or are we going to see the final destruction of this whole relationship between Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis, where you are so adamant at not wanting to risk your star getting beat by Boots Ennis, in terms of Virgil Ortiz getting beat by Boots Ennis hypothetically, that you will lose your star outright because he'll just say, you know what, I'm walking away. Straight up, you ain't doing what I need you to do. You're not working in the way that I need you to work. And I'm inclined to say that if Virgil Ortiz, who hasn't said a word in any of this, if he is on one side or the other of a docket of who he is supporting in this internal war, I would assume it's his promoter from the standpoint of Mick Miragon over De La Hoya as tightly knit, because Miragon is at least spouting the sentiments that I can see a little bit more line up with the mentality of Virgil Ortiz. And so it's Oscar, buddy, you in a rock and a hard place now. And it's a dangerous situation for you as this big monolith of a promoter, because now you're trying to maximize the revenue, but you're overpricing Ortiz to an exorbitant degree. You're causing final demands that Ortiz doesn't even want, from the standpoint of him and his team just said, hey, buddy, don't be trying to nix these talks right now. And also, you are fighting against another liaison that's supposed to be working in tandem with you, that is potentially going to sour the optics of what you are as a helping hand for the career of Virgil Ortiz to Virgil Ortiz, which will then equate to him doing what Canelo did, doing what Ryan Garcia did, doing what Edgar Berlanga called De La Hoya out for, doing what most of the big time names that have fought under the Golden Boy umbrella have done. Walk away and say, all right, when this contract is up, I'm up too. I don't know how long their contract is with Golden Boy, but however long it is, we get into some scary opposition where you risking you not wanting to risk your biggest star losing could inevitably cause you to lose your biggest star. It could really. And I guarantee you, Eddie Hearn's going to use this type of infighting to make the public see him and Boots as, hey man, y'all see what we do whenever we come up to a division? Everybody starts to scramble and get scared. Everybody's concerned now with what we got going on. Everybody wants to see our show, and everybody knows how bad of a conglomerate that us as a tandem are. I move the money, he put butts in seats, and we clean out the competition in every regard. And anybody who has to face us, they get scared. Just look at what's going on with Ortiz. Look at what's going on with De La Hoya. And look at what's going on with all of that internal struggle. They fighting with themselves, and they supposed to be fighting me. You see, they are scared. They don't want this smoke. They don't want any of this fire that we got going on. This is why my deal is the best deal, because you don't see us moving like that going up against Boots or going up against Virgil Ortiz. You don't see us scrambling going up against Virgil Ortiz. We are all in tandem. Are you on our level? And you as confident? You as driven to success? If you are, take our deal. That's what they can use as leverage. And next thing you know, now it's sink or swim for Oscar De La Hoya. And it can be bad. So this is a huge development from the standpoint of leverage, negotiation power, using the public's opinion and emotions to help sway where in fact the money can actually go, as well as what the money will be ultimately, to force a hand. That's what's going to happen. I guarantee you, Eddie Hearn's going to use this and is going to use this to force a hand. He will use this to force a hand, because ultimately this is hurting the cachet of Virgil Ortiz. Be clear about all this. Be clear about all this. We have talked about this fight even more than the fight that we've talked about with Shakur and Tio. Yet still, The only thing that's been of the dominating conversation with involving this entire fight has been the downgraded optics and outlook on Virgil Ortiz and that entire regime. And it's unfair to Virgil Ortiz to a big degree, but it still is happening. So, best way to do it is to just take the fight, if you're going to do it nonetheless. But let me keep reading what you all got to say. Let me see. Brother Oscar waiting time. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. You're doggone right. You're absolutely right. He's wasting time. He's wasting everybody's time. And again, his own people are calling him out, and it's a shame. It's absolutely a shame. Virgil ain't doing nothing. Again, it's Oscar. This situation is Oscar De La Hoya is holding up anything more than just Virgil Ortiz himself. In this situation, he is the one. He is the obstacle. He is the rock in the way that everybody wants to blow up. And if anything, if it gets too bad, Virgil Ortiz just blow it up himself. And say, hey, yeah, I'm not dealing with this no more. I'm gone, and walk just like Canelo and everybody else did under De La Hoya. I'll tell you that. Boots should just move on. Yes, he should. If we don't get nothing within a week or two, you start talking to other people. Like I said, go on and try to do a deal with Baccarat. Like we talked about last week. Make it happen. And let's go. Also, let me see. Baby, what's going on with you? Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Glad you're back. Thank you for tuning in to the show with us on it. Hopefully, you're enjoying your time. Hopefully, you're having a great day on today. And hopefully, you have left a like on the video. And we'll continue to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. Absolutely. Hopefully, you, specifically you, are giving me $50. Yeah, you owe me $50. Yeah. You know why? Because I carried you in Fortnite a couple of days ago when we were playing. I'm kidding. Nah, we got dog walk. We were playing with each other. Just had to throw out a subtle jab. Then we had to. Again, I know the man behind the screen, hence why I can joke like I joke with him. But like I said, I'm just glad that you're here, and I'm just glad that you're tuning in for the ride. But yeah, man, it's a situation. He's got to move on, and sooner or later, they can move on. I would hope this fight does happen, but like I said, I do think it will happen this year. But at some point in time, you doggone right, other options, as much as Ortiz can threaten to talk to other people, we can see Boots do that same thing. Shoot, we can see Boots negotiate with Sebastian Fundora instead and take that perceived guaranteed spot from Virgil Ortiz. Even though he's been admitted to it for years, all of a sudden we get Virgil Ortiz not getting a shot at Fundora, and we get Boots versus Fundora or Keith Thurman, and he gets the winner of that fight. Because why? He's the bigger draw. He's the bigger star. He's the bigger name. He's the bigger man from the standpoint of appeal and power. That Fundora definitely ain't turning down that type of money. I guarantee you, he ain't turning down that type of money for a fight with Boots in his. I promise you that. I promise you that. Mind you, we just saw a report, or rather an award given to the city of New Jersey for putting on one of the biggest events in New Jersey stadium history, I believe, or one of the biggest events for the year in Jersey last year with that fight with Stanionis that drew $1.5 million in revenue alone. Like, they were getting awards, and now they're looking to do more fights in Jersey because of that fight with Boots. He's a money mover. He's a shaker. He'll put everybody on notice with the stuff he can do. That's the quality reason that his star power is so high. He legit has footsteps laden in gold. And the second he gets a belt up here at this division, those footsteps are going to turn into platinum, because he's going to be a walking draw that everybody wants to witness and see. And it will only further the intrigue to get the fight with Virgil Ortiz. Finally, if he gets a belt, Virgil ain't got a belt. And now, Virgil, you say you want a title. Now I'm the man to de facto beat, and I'm the A side. Either you take what you can get or you move on. Puts Oscar De La Hoya in a further bind. All of this is just playing into the palms of Eddie Hearn as a promoter and Boots Ennis as a fighter and as a perceived threat at this division of 154. That's all it's doing. He's helping out the case. And whether he thinks or not, he's helping out the case. But again, it's a big drama show everywhere, man. I'm telling you, if Virgil wants to get the world title, he's been mandatory for years now. Yep, absolutely. For the Fundora fight, whether he's going to do it or not, it's up to them. If you really got that, if you really want that type of smoke with everybody else, go on and negotiate. Stand on your bluff if you're Oscar De La Hoya. But if you don't stand on it, guess what? You look like you're getting punked. Because now everybody inside the house is fighting. And it's like we stand outside saying, hey, you're supposed to be putting paws on us. You said you could knock us out. Why are you going at each other? It's a shame. It's a shame nonetheless. And so it's watch out. That's all I can say. Watch out for it. Because in the next coming couple of weeks, dare I say even couple of days, who knows where the twists and turns of this whole story can indeed go. But we still got more to cover. And we covered all of our stuff a little bit earlier than expected. So we can actually jump into right now the world of the championship rounds. Yes, indeed. Yes, sir. We can talk about the world of boxing, basketball, the NBA, the NFL, movies, sports, television, video games, all that stuff. We got a bunch of time now. We actually went through pretty decisively everything that we wanted to cover as the main big topics of discussion. I still got some more stuff that we can't talk about, no question. However, if you all want to go throw in any of your own opinions, to drive your own conversation, to have your own thoughts, your own questions, your own debates about anything in the sports world that I can talk about, hey, I'll be about it and I'll discuss it right here with you all on today. We got 30 minutes to an hour like we do every single day on this show. We want to hear from you all. So, hey, let's jump into it. Let's get right into the nitty gritty of the thick of the entertainment and let's jump into the world of the championship rounds. Come on. Let's make it happen. Let's get it popping. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Let's get this show on the road as we're going to see what more we can discuss in the world of boxing as well as we still got a whole bunch of things to cover. Like in the world of 168, hey, Chris Eubanks Jr. has now made a full recovery, if you did not know, from his fight in a very taxing affair in a losing effort against Conor Benn in their grudge match where they had a war that was a generational struggle. Yes, it was 30 years almost of outright ire and bloodlust now got put to bed with Eubanks finally getting beat by Conor Benn, but he's now made a full recovery. Now gotten surgery, got whatever problems were got whatever problems that he was dealing with, dealt with through surgery. And now he's making his debut as the newest member of the club of 168. That's right. He's moving on up, y'all. He's moving up. We got a Eubank at 168 at super middleweight. The division with Hamzat Shiraz, the 6'5" behemoth, slicing slim reaper of a knockout artist, with Edgar Berlanga, with the likes of Christian and Billy, with the likes of Martinez, now has the stable of an even bigger star in the likes of Chris Eubanks Jr. added to the division with the current still seen as best fighter in super middleweight in Canelo Alvarez, still looking like the biggest man to be, who's also coming off of surgery in his own right. So just so you know, 168's gotten a little bit more stingy, a little more tricky. Are we going to see Eubanks look better now that he's at a weight class that should indeed take away all of the hindered abilities that he said he was having at 160 and below, with him again cutting weight so drastically? If he loses now up here, there shouldn't be any excuse. I'm gonna say this right now. It should not be that we see Eubanks not be able to be the best Eubanks that we see, or that we have seen, from a physical perspective, from a healthy perspective, from a ability perspective. Having all your tools at your disposal without anything being hindered and or diluted because of essentially you fighting well below what you needed to be. Now, if we want to see the Eubanks name No, I mean, it's still great. Don't get me wrong. He's not going to besmirch it. But if you're going to make a splash, this is the time to do it. You're going to make a splash, this is the time to make it happen. But you got some heavy hitters because you're already going to be seen as up here in the hierarchy, or at least in name value, as one of the bigger selling points in this division. So you ain't going to have a bunch of time to waste to come in and not make some noise. So it's going to get proven real quick what you are and what you can be. What we'll find out about is whether or not you can actually thrive up here. Or if potentially people are just too big, too strong for you to be able to handle. Hypothetically, we're going to find out as we continue to go through in this show. And absolutely, I can't wait to see what stuff unfolds. Absolutely. Let me see. I saw Dalton Smith wants to win of Shakur until he does. I did see that call out as well. Dalton Smith does want to fight the winner of Shakur versus Teal. Yes, indeed. He wants to have to fight in Shakur Matias. I can understand. If I can knock him out, I can knock anybody out. I want the smoke. Now, who do I think is going to win between those two? Yeah, of course, it's going to be either Shakur or Teal. Whoever wins that at this point in time, I think would be Dalton Smith. But that still doesn't mean I don't want to see that fight. And it also doesn't mean that Dalton Smith hadn't proven himself as a fixture that can get an upset now against some of the tops in this division. It can happen. Absolutely. And we are happy that we have a champion who is really egging on to take on the best in the land immediately, without any downtime, without any means of, waiting around. Like I said, I would be more than happy to get a fight between him and Richardson Hitchens. In the vein of excuse me, over there in was it Sheffield? I think that's where he's from, over in the UK. For a unification bout, that would help even bigger to draw Smith's name, so that in the aftermath of Shakur and T.O., a fight where Dalton Smith can be even bigger. That's what I would want to happen for the best case scenario, to make for the best perfect storm. But again, that's just my opinion. But I'm glad he wants all the smoke. I love it. Absolutely. Let me see Timmy T. You're in the championship rounds match. I mean, like I said, we covered everything we wanted pretty quickly. Crazy enough. It was insane to say. We breezed through what we wanted to cover, from the Tank stuff to the Virgil Ortiz stuff to the Brian Owens stuff, from the standpoint of the biggest three things that I wanted to cover. And also, we're trying to make some tweaks to the show, see if we can make it flow a little bit better. I'm not trying to be too much long-winded. We want it to be entertaining, but not droning on. Now, in some cases, if there's a bunch of stuff to talk about with a topic, yeah, it'll keep on going. Because you all, like I said, help drive the conversation for the whole of this show. And in the past, on those other episodes, everybody had something to say about something. So it was like the conversation just kept on going, which I love. Absolutely. I love it. But like I said, we ain't going to drone on and not give you all the best qualitative evidence of whatever I can say. But then also, we're breezing through. We're going to breeze through. And we're going to make it happen. And give you all a chance to say even more stuff about whatever you may want to say throughout this show's runtime. Absolutely. But let me see. Did you see TL versus Shakur's face-up? Oh, in terms of them facing off against each other in kind of that round table. The first time that they've been, since their first stare down, they've been able to speak face to face and talk at each other. Yes, I did. I did get to see that. And there's you know what? I'm going to say this. There seems to be, for all the stuff that we said about T.O. as I'll be clear, he's had a bunch of issues. Excuse me, he's had a bunch of problems. We've seen, he's had some very controversial things happen with him, absolutely. But approaching this fight with Shakur Stevenson, there seems to be I don't want to say calmness, but like when you got older people talking to younger people saying, hey man, what you may want to think or may want to say or may want to do isn't always the best thing. It seems like, at least from the standpoint of how he views boxing, he still is the takeover, sure. He still wants to take on all comers, absolutely. Still wants to be a guy that is working to go and be the best in the world, yes. But the temperament seems a little bit different. Seems a little more even killed. Seems more of a veteran from the perspective of how he views the sport as a whole. And that could look to be a very good thing to happen for him. That could be. It really could be. No, you saying T.O. looks ready. He does. Now, again, Shakur looks ready as well. Shakur does look ready. Shakur looks eager, excited. He's talking his talk, just standing his ground. He's now looks like he's used to the verbal antics that we see with Teofimo Lopez and the barbs that he throws at him, and he's gotten more comfortable with being okay. This is how I need to handle this type of guy with something he may say. Not getting thrown off as much from the psyche of Teofimo Lopez, which is a great sign. At the same coin, or rather on the other side of the coin, T.O. Everything about T.O. is saying, at least to me, again, speculation, but it's kind of saying to me, hey man, look, I'm not going to look for deliberation as to what you may do in the ring. I'm not going to try to act like I know how you're going to be inside the ring. I'm not going to try to know what you're going to do as your game plan when you see me come out in my style. We're going to see what you got. I'm going to adapt like I always do. And I'm going to take what you dish out, and I'm going to turn it into a souffle or whatever type of meal I need to in order to make this fight turn around in my favor, or straight up dominate this fight outright. Do not be so confident in what people may say, what people may do, what people may think of you after this fight, because they're going to talk. They're going to say your performance ain't enough. They're going to ridicule you. They're going to go and chastise you, no matter how good you may think you can perform. So I'm not going to go in here talking about how I'm going to do this, that, and the third to you. I'm going to win. Straight. And what you think this is in more facets than one, it's not. From both business, fandom, and boxing as a whole. So have your bravado. Have your confidence. Absolutely. Have what the public may think of you. Absolutely. But I guarantee you, in this fight and after this fight, you're going to see why I act like I act now. Because this is a completely different game. At the level I'm at. Because guarantee you, T.O. looks at Shakur as, no, you're great. Don't get me wrong, you're great. But I've been up where you say you want to be. I've been against the best in the world and beat him. I've been against the likes of Lomachenko, who was above Crawford, who was above Inoue, who was above Fury, Usyk, anybody you could think of at that point in time. He was the head and shoulders number one. I beat him. I know what it takes at this level, facing up against this type of competition. A different breed. You're going to find out, and you're also going to find out the aftermath. It's one of those things where I'm a big wrestling fan. We were seeing one of the programs with John Cena and fight with a guy named Austin Theory, who was supposed to be a big-time star. John Cena said straight up to him, hey, I know I'm going to beat you, absolutely. But here's what you got to understand, kid. If I lose, or if I win, you gain nothing. If I lose, you still gain nothing. Because you got to get the people after this to accept you and carry this type of torch that you are what you say that you are. And if I'm not there to help make that happen, you're going to see that what I'm dealing with, you ain't built for. So if you can take this torch, take it. But you better show that you can carry it. That's kind of the vibes that I see with the likes of Teofimo Lopez. If you want this spot, go on and try to take it. If you take it, though, you think that stuff about being boring, you think that stuff about being, not entertaining, you think that's bad now. Post me, regardless of this result, you're going to find out this boxing game don't love you like you think it does. That's the mentality that T.O. is bringing to the table. Now, he still is absolutely confident that he wins, but he's not as, what's the word? Cocky isn't the right word, because he still is incredibly confident that, yeah, he can beat anybody under the sun. But he's not as brash with it. There is a, again, looks like a little bit more of a life experience, maturity in boxing, as well as straight up, it's a dude who, I've been through the ringer. I've been through the ringer. What you got ain't phasing me. So, I'm excited. I'm excited because this type of TO could be a TO that doesn't let anything get to him. Hypothetically. This type of TO can be a Teofimo Lopez that those questions that we had asking about him in the past and the question we have now about how he can handle the frustration that Shakur can bring, the lack of offense that Shakur can bring out to make you antsy, the counterpunching that Shakur can bring to make you frustrated and make you annoyed because every time I try to do something, I keep getting caught. All of that may actually be able to be handled by Teofimo Lopez because he now can look at this not from the optics of a young star who's trying to go through and do everything under the sun, but somebody who, through loss, both in and outside the ring, has garnered a little bit more of a rugged skin. And now, okay, I know I can change. I know I can move and adapt. I just have to move and adapt accordingly. So, let me go and make these shifts like I know I can without losing my head. That can very well be the issue. Not issue. That could be the reality. And if that's the case, my gosh, that's a great fight. That's a great fight. That's a phenomenal. I can't wait for it. I can't wait. I'm telling you, this fight is going to be great. This fight is going to be great. Hopefully, prayerfully. I don't think it's going to be a bore. I don't think it's going to be a snooze fest like some people and even myself have said. It might be a possibility. Because not just what's at stake, but what each of them is going to have to do against a different breed of fighter like Tio and Shakur. It's going to be something insane. It's going to be something insane. I can't wait to watch how it all unfolds. Absolutely no question. But and also in more stuff in realms of the sports world with boxing as a whole, we got some more news in regards to Teofimo Lopez. Not Teofimo Lopez. In regards to Robert Garcia, as again we talked about with trainers and coaches in the past as well. Hey, we got some news on Robert Garcia. So he's saying he's heard through the grapevine there's going to be some new, there's going to be a name coming back to the boxing world that we've been speculating. Will he, won't he? I think it's going to happen now, and I'll let him say it for himself. And y'all might be very interested to see.
I think Paulie just mentioned that being in Australia, he stopped.
There we go. There we go.
Look, I think Paulie just mentioned that being in Australia, he's heard about Spence maybe versus Tim Tszyu, which I actually heard that too last night. I heard that too. So that's a possibility. Look,
so like that fight now, hey, over in Australia, Errol Spence making his return against Tim Tszyu, who just made his return with a knockout win. I think it was 4 rounds. Since he got stopped by Bakram. Now we can finally get the showdown of two people that are on the last legs of their career trying to make a stamping point in boxing. Now again, that's all rumors. It's all rumors. It's all speculation. We don't know whether or not we'll see Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence actually fight against each other. We don't know if we'll actually see that take place. We don't know. I would love to say yes. I would love to say that is the wholehearted reality. I would love to say that is the not just possibility, but that is the cold, hard truth that we can see take place coming at the end or midway through the summer of this year. And if it was the case, I mean, I'd be jumping for joy. I'd be elated. I'd be clapping up and down. You know why? Because we would all finally get our answer into, well, what Spence got left. We know what Tim Tszyu's got left. He still got power. Yep. Chin is still in a dangerous state, but even with that being the case, he's got at least potentially one last hurrah at a world championship opportunity, but one loss most likely ends that wholeheartedly. Again, back to the drawing board. This is part of that drawing board sentiment. Tim Tszyu versus the likes of Errol Spence Jr. But if he can make it possible, they able to beat him, then great. All well and good. Errol Spence, we've seen him on the beaches. We've seen him growing dreads. We've seen him eating fruit with his family and wife. Love it. I appreciate it. Absolutely. There's no issue with that. I have no qualms with you enjoying your time and building a life outside of sport. It's beautiful. He's got a beautiful family. And he looks like he's in great spirits. But, again, if you keep on teasing that you're going to come back when I'm good and ready, well, I'm going to say this. Everybody is not the likes of Gary Russell Jr. Everybody ain't the likes of Terrence Crawford. Well, you can take a year off, over 2 years off. Potentially how we see Tyson Fury come back, everybody ain't Tyson Fury. Well, you can take a couple years off like he did when he lost to Klitschko and then came back and then got to the heavyweight championship scene and won. Everybody ain't that. Everybody isn't even Keith Thurman, who had almost a 3.5-year layoff. And it's looking like, okay, wait, I might have something left in the tank. Everybody isn't Manny Pacquiao, who had a 6-year retirement officially and came back and had a draw with the current WBC champion of the world in Mario Barrios. Everybody ain't that. I don't know if Spence is. And so this type of waiting game, unless this thing gets announced soon, it can potentially backfire. But hopefully we see it happen, because I would love to see it. No question about it. Let me see. Daryl Anderson, what's going on? Also, Daryl Anderson, how you doing? Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy to see you. Please leave a like on the stream. Keep on commenting on the show. It's still the championship rounds. We want to hear from you in regards to everything involving the world of sports and beyond. We want to hear your thoughts, your opinions, your outputs and takes on everything involving the sports world. But let me see what you got to say. What's going on with Tank right now? Oh, if you didn't know, he has been, that video of the abuse and violence that he did against that woman in a nightclub on October 27th that we covered on this channel. Well, they got video evidence in police custody, and it's been confirmed with the woman's testimony of the abuse that Gervonta Davis dished out to her, and now there is a manhunt from U.S. Marshals to get his arrest. They have a warrant, and they're out searching for him. Tank Davis is officially being looked for by the police as a legitimate, hey, we're going to take you in. And so it's a very sad development. Like I said, they got evidence, official video evidence that has been reviewed, compared with the woman's testimony of what Tank did to her in the abuse statement, and it has been all confirmed of that nightclub incident on October 27th. So he's being searched for by the police, U.S. Marshals as well. He's looking to get caught into custody. So it's bad. It's bad. It's really, really bad right now. It's really bad. Let me see. Real Deal, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. What's happening here? Like I said, it's 30 minutes to an hour. We can cover anything involving the world of sports and beyond, boxing and otherwise. There's still got more topics and news I can dig up and cover, but I don't want to hear your thoughts and opinions on anything or questions, debates, and all that stuff of what you would like for me to discuss, and I would love to hear from you all. Absolutely. Let me see. He's really good at talking boxing. I mean, I'm doing my best. Like, if this is a reference to me, I'm doing the best I can. Like I said, I don't know if I'm better or worse than anybody else. I'm just trying to make it so that you all are entertained and that you all are having a better day because you're able to listen to the show. And hey, if you like the show, keep on liking and subscribing to the channel. Come on, join the empire. Leave a like to help push this show to the biggest outer reaches of the social media landscape. And hey, keep on getting your questions, keep getting your comments. And if you do like the show, shameless plug, and would like to support the show monetarily, hey, We got Cash App and PayPal. Links down below in the description, as well as super gifts and super chats and whatnot, stickers and all of the like that you can give and support to this channel to help make this thing grow bigger, better, and stronger, all for your viewing and listening pleasure. I'm also trying to figure out the best way to do these membership things, so I'm gonna figure that out as well as time goes on, because some of y'all have been asking, y'all want it, so we're gonna see if we can make it happen. Absolutely. But look, we still want to hear from you all. We still want to hear your thoughts and opinions, and we still got more stuff in the world of boxing that we need to cover, like not just with the Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence potential outlook of a fight. We also have the likes of, where is that? Is there somewhere? Is here some? Hold on, wait a minute. I got it up here. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 minute. Want to make sure I don't lead you all astray in regards to, here it is. I talked about in regards to, but a little more in reference to the Brian Norman Jr. saga taking place in regards to him and his son having a fallout. Brian Norman Sr. goes a little bit more in depth into how he molded the likes of Brian Norman Jr. and how, at least in my opinion, may have backfired a little bit from why he does need to move on from this whole conversation, or from this whole dichotomy of Brian Norman Sr. training the likes of Jr. in order for Jr. to come through and be more essentially evolve and grow. But let me see. I still have no idea where Tank is. I think that they do know where he is. I think they're just trying to get him. I could be wrong. Like I said, that to that extent, I do not know whether they know or don't know. I just know they're out getting him. They got people sending out trying to get him. So we're going to see where they're at. Like I said, we're going to see where it goes. I can't speak on that because I'm not entirely sure. Because they might know where he is and they're just saying, hey, we're sending police out to go get him. Or it could be legitimately, he is on the run. I don't know. I can't speak on that. So because I can't speak on it, I ain't going to speak on it. I'm not, like I said, we're gonna try to keep myself as clean from the standpoint of allegations as possible. Anything else that I say is either opinion-based and or I ain't going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I just know they're searching for Tank. And so we're going to see what happens with that whole saga as it continues to evolve. But let me give you this quick clip with Brian Norman Sr. in regards to how he built Brian Norman Jr. up in this sport, and essentially how he kind of molded him, and why it is indeed better that Norman's gone from him.
I mean, the conversation was what it.
And viewer discretion is advised. Just so you know, brands and stuff, we're still, I don't know how to bleep the stuff out as it's on stream because I don't know what they be saying. But hey, apologize for any offensive language. Trying to be brand friendly so we can get some sponsorships. Hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and all that stuff.
Whoa, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? That's my son. I love him to death. Raised him, bred him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't even know. I can't believe you didn't know this. I raised him by myself, right?
Well, you told me that earlier today.
You didn't know that?
And 3 others.
I had 4 kids. I raised them by myself. Yeah, that's a whole damn thing. Yeah. I raised him and his 3 brothers, and his 1 brother and 2 sisters by themselves. So 4 kids. I raised them all by myself. So with that being, and I'm just saying that to say, I bred him. I bred him literally. I mean, all bullshit aside, I trained the mom out of him. True story. I started raising him by myself at 4 years old. So he ain't had, that's why he was a little gritty. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, I trained the mom out of him. I molded his brain. I brainwashed the shit out of him. People laugh at that all the time, whatever else, but it's the truth. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, he was my little soldier. You know what I'm saying? He's still my soldier. So it is what it is. And I guess, that's what he was saying as part of the problem. And that he my soldier, and he want to be his own man, and that's all good. I got no beef with that.
And so, so with that being said, credit to again, this is not an indictment on how he raised his son. Like I said, raised his son's confident, strong, got him to this point. It's incredibly, great charisma. All this. This is not indictment or anything involving parenting with how he raised Brian. Be clear. This is not that. This is not that. Don't try to spin it as that. This is a good move because there are some points in time. It's always the case, like I said, in a way, and his dad working great in the tandem. But there's some points in time where that relationship and that, as he so puts it, breeding and brainwashing and molding him into a soldier, it can cloud the coach's ability to look at the position that his fighter's in from an objective standpoint. It can't. We saw a little bit that. We saw a little bit of that issue even with the likes of Devin Haney, because and as I can see some people in the chat right now talking about. But seniors taking this whole situation hard. No, he like I get it. Like it's hurt. It's a prideful situation. I mean, you don't want to have to look in the face of. You don't want your fighter to have to look you in the face and say, hey, it ain't working. Especially somebody that's your son that, like I said, you helped get them to this point. I can understand. Like it's gonna hurt. It is going to hurt. But we have to look at this from the other perspective. We saw this almost same sentiment start to happen with Bill Haney from the standpoint of Bill Haney trained him, Bill Haney worked with him, Bill Haney helped make him thrive. He did all that stuff. However, what it built was to some degree a little bit of a stopgap in letting Devin Haney's best ability shine. He then created a game plan to protect his son rather than trying to go through and make the best game plan to let his son thrive. To a degree, like we said before, it almost hindered his son, Devin Haney, to be the fighter that he wanted to be, because he said himself, quoting Bill Haney, hey, we just wanted to get the win and get out of there. We wanted to shut up the noise, shut up the rhetoric, shut up the ability of everybody talking down on Devin Haney, and shut down everybody to make it so that they could just not talk anymore. Protect my son and protect my boxer from taking any damage at all. We're not trying to fight. That's what he did. Because the optics of son versus fighter blended together. Brian Norman Jr., he was so adamant that my way is the highway, and that we couldn't see the bigger picture of what Devin Haney was as a boxer, as well as what I was as a fighter right now, and what I did need to work on, that, hey, in case this sentiment of just plowing through competition ain't gonna work, we need to either A, have a plan B, or we either need to, one, have a plan B, or two, devolve or evolve some better skills so that if the fight goes either way, and my main way that I've taught my son to fight that has been able to work doesn't work, okay, we got another game plan that I can say, we still good. He wasn't there. He didn't do it. He couldn't do it. And sometimes it's an adjustment. It's a hard adjustment. It's a hurtful adjustment. It's a painful adjustment, because again, that type of relationship, that type of, you working with your son to get to this point, it's never going to be easy. But Brian wants to be his own man. And more than that, he wants to see what he can't do so he can get better. And to some degree, Brian Norman Sr., the way he might have said that Brian Norman Jr. needed to get better was to just be more dogged. If we're going by what he's been training with his son, the way that we see Brian Norman get better in the eyes of Brian Norman Sr. might have just been, hey, you need to dog it out some more. You need to be even more destructive. You need to be even more determined for a KO. And that just not, and that to some degree might be the worst thing for him. That moniker of just pushing through and inevitably something will get done. Not saying it can't work, but I'm saying at times, especially at this level, you got to expose to such a degree. Yeah, it needs a full-blown change. Full-blown change. that Brian Norman Sr. just can't bring to the table. Why? Because he's stuck in a certain mode that some trainers who are fathers get stuck in. With a bigger landscape of how to build your fighter, they can't get to. Because there's a level of attachment that sometimes holds you back. Not always, but sometimes. This could be one of those times. And so, hey, credit to him, again, like I said, more reason for credit to him to make this change. And because they're making this change, it's better for us. Almost restarted the video again. I didn't mean to do that. Absolutely. But like I said, we still got time for you all to say what you all want to say in the world of this show. It's still, we're running up on 2 hours into this show. Like I said, we did say 30 minutes to an hour, so we got about 10 minutes. Whatever you want to discuss in the world of boxing and beyond, we can discuss. If you want to go to the NFL, we can go there as well. Don't forget, if you've been in line with what's going on in Pittsburgh, not just did they get dog walked and bounced out the playoffs, I believe by the Texans, 30-6. They also got into a situation where Mike Tomlin's gone. Oh, gosh. Oh, goodness. If you didn't know, Mike Tomlin, and again, as we're transitioning over into more news and topics, waiting on you all's opinion, because we talk about more than just boxing on this show. Mike Tomlin's out of here. He didn't even get the boot. He quit and resigned on his own accord. Why? Because of the fact that after having upwards of 193 and a 114 record with 8 draws, a Super Bowl champion, never having a losing record in his entire career, one of the most consistent coaches in Pittsburgh history. Well, now it's time for a change. And with Aaron Rodgers, with DK Metcalf, all at their disposal, with TJ Watt and others also there, they just could not get over the hump. Yet again, 7 straight years of first-round exits in the playoffs. It's been a cycle of monotony, a cycle of average. The standard is mediocre. The standard is average. The standard is straight up not even nonsensical. It's below the standard that we used to see the Pittsburgh Steelers and that steel curtain be for the upwards of a decade plus. And it's been a decade of outright same thing. Mr. 8-8 was what we were calling Mike Tomlin. Now it's Mr. 9-8 with the added season, with the added 18-game season. That's what it was. That's what it is. And it's time for a shift. Whoever else gets Mike Tomlin, it might work out even better. Hey, I wouldn't be mad if we saw other bad teams shoot. If we said if Carolina didn't have Corrales as their coach right now, I guarantee you we would have been the first people on the phone with the likes of Mike Tomlin to get him over here and see what he can make of this roster. Who knows? Well, that could have been like, but like I said, we got our guy and we're going to be sticking with him. Regardless of which, he's probably going to get a spot somewhere, because there's going to be some teams that need an overhaul of at least some consistency as they're rebuilding and growing into trying to be something better. We just saw Ravens get rid of John Harbaugh after their continued lack of improvement as a career coach on a team that, even though, yes, he got them a Super Bowl with the Ravens, most people were in reports are saying, hey, look, it was essentially Ed Reed and Ray Lewis that were coaching that squad. John Harbaugh wasn't doing a bunch of nothing in Baltimore from the standpoint of making that team go. And subsequently afterwards, it's been a bunch of other instances where we're looking at the coaching, we're looking at the offense that they're trying to run, and we're looking at a progression of what's supposed to be one of the most threatening teams in the entire league with Lamar Jackson, I believe is a multi-time MVP, voted as the best player in the world at one point in time, and one of the most polarizing and effective figures from the standpoint of changing the landscape of the sport, as we can see. And now it's led to, again, nothing. There had to be a shift. Something's got to go, because you got too much at stake. And with the Steelers, we're dealing with the last potential prime and potentially last game of Aaron Rodgers. Try to make the most of it and try to get somewhere with this type of team. And with Lamar, you're wasting the prime of one of the best players that we've seen in NFL history. Two teams in the same boat, both of them struggling with the same issue. Our coaches can't get this done. We got to make a shift. And yep, Timothy, and you beat me to it. John Harbaugh now signed with the Giants. When they got what? They got Jackson Dart. They got Scatterboo. They got some weapons. And off the backs of them giving away like Saquon Barkley, and again, still not being great, but having a foundation they can at least look to hope for. Is Harbaugh going to help them? If he couldn't do what he did doing in Baltimore, I don't know. A lot of people are saying that Harbaugh as a coach ain't what people think he is. Same thing with Mike Tomlin to some degree. He can get you to a point, but then nothing more. I'm very interested to see how this NFL season is going to pan out and devolve into with this newfound movement. Who are the Steelers going to draft now? This is on the fourth time they've been searching for a coach since 1960s? Just about. It's been again, normally they got a guy to keep him and they stay with him and they win. Now it's a little bit different. Who's going to get brought into the fold with this Steelers organization? Who's going to be able to rewrite the standard for what this Steelers team can do? Who in the world is going to be the coach for the Baltimore Ravens? My gosh. Who's going to be the guy to help maximize the potential and ability that we see in Lamar as the leader of this team? To be able to make it so that they don't waste the best years of one of the most, let's put it bluntly, one of the best quarterbacks we got right now. One of the best players that we got right now. One of the most impactful and game-changing stars that we have right now. Mind you, even in their loss to Pittsburgh, when they got bounced, Lamar helped lead them down a game-winning drive to get to a field goal. That, again, Luke missed wide right. Rookie kicker in that situation. My gosh, I feel terrible for him. Hopefully it doesn't affect him and he's able to come back still and be a phenomenal kicker. But he's been doing this consistently. It can't be every time we see Lamar Jackson in the game, he's pulling off game-winning heroics with throws and moves that are incredible. But then they get ripped away from him. Because it's sometimes all for naught. More often than not. Why? Because the coaching doesn't do what it needs to do. In some situations, it's like, oh my gosh, we got to make a move. So I'm telling you, there's a lot of, well, these playoffs have started to this might be one of the most impactful playoffs that we've seen. From the standpoint of after it's all said and done, what can come afterwards can be, good gosh, insane. Ridiculous. It can be absolutely ridiculous. But let me see what you all, I got to see even more. Last I saw, it was a 5-year deal. Well, if that's the case, boy, Giants fans, if y'all were bad before, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll take it on the chin. But y'all about to be bad again for a long time. Because I'm telling you, if Harbaugh can't make that work with Lamar Jackson as a game planning coach, I don't know what he's going to be able to do with the likes of the Giants. I don't know. I don't know how much both Harbaugh and Tomlin are being put in the hot seat of the likes of Doc Rivers right now in the NBA. Doc Rivers is one of the biggest examples of people who he won a championship. He's had consistency, but the success has always been he folds every time with his schemes specifically, regardless of who he's got on his roster. Regardless of who he got on his roster. Couldn't get it done when he went to Giannis. Couldn't get it done when he was on the Clippers. With multiple iterations of the Clippers, Lob City. As well as with Kawhi in them. It's not great. So it's a concern. It's a big concern. So we're going to see how it goes. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? That's a great question. I want to say, because the Rams beat us in terms of Carolina, I want to say I got the Rams winning just so I can go through and and, say, hey, we lost the Super Bowl chance. But I'm not overlooking Seattle. I'm not. Look, man, I'm not overlooking Seattle. I'm not overlooking that at all. 8 Pro Bowlers on that team. Looking like with Sam Darnold, all of a sudden seems like he's finally got it together and is leading a squad that, in all accounts, got one of the best defenses in football right now. Buddy? That's a hard team to sign, especially with this whole saga of this playoffs being wide open for the world to see. Everybody has a legit shot, and it could legit be. Defense is a thing that stonewalls everything. It could be. That's the case, but Seattle might be a world of pain for anybody to deal with. I'm telling you. I am drastically leaning. I'm saying I'm drastically leaning that Seattle might take it. I'm drastically. They are looking like such a. It's the fact that Sam Darnold, with the way he's playing offensively, is being backed up with such dominant consistency by the defense. That his mistakes are being not just overshadowed, but being almost made null and void with that type of defensive prowess, coupled with the fact that even with his own offensive production, when he goes and he gets his stuff going, and that Seattle offense actually starts to get some wheels turning, buddy, they like dog walking people. It's a scary sentiment. It's scary, man. And why do I say that? I don't say that just because they beat Carolina. I say that because the way they beat Carolina, if you're a good team, we beat you. And if you're a bad team, we struggle. They made us look like a bad team. We've had such an up and down season, and they are elite. I mean, we couldn't do a doggone thing. It was bad. Other teams, same situation, looking like they were stuck in mud. Demoralizing. I'm telling you. They won the favorites, absolutely. Let me see. Timothy Steelers only had 3 coaches. Noel, Cowher, and now Tomlin. Yeah, and now it's a 4th. Like I said, they've only had 3 since I think it's like 68, 69, one of those 2 years. And so, where this goes from here, this is a new regime now. In terms of not only did Tomlin walk away, but now who can sit here and take this reign? Minimum, they got to be as good as Tomlin. You would assume, if we're going by the standard of what we see with the likes of Steelers for over the course of the years, and if they're trying to get better. Baseline, you got to be as good as Tomlin. Best situation, you leading this team to 12 wins on average. You right up there with the likes of Seattle, with the likes of the Texans. You right there with them. Rams, you right there with them. You leading us to that level of dominance. You want to get back to when it was you, when it was the Steelers. I think for a time it was Arizona, Indianapolis. Who was that 14? Who was that 14? There was a 14. Essentially with the biggest powers in the NFL. Colts, Steelers, Patriots, and then I'm missing a team. There's one other team that was normally always at the top of the mountain. But those 4 were seen as all those Super Bowl, you got to go through them and them alone. That type of dominance. They're looking to get back to that. Will they? I don't know. I just don't know. Let me see. Raiders had more coaches than that from 2000. Oh, gosh, you right. Yeah, that's insane. Raiders had more than that for 3 years. Then the Steelers have had an upwards of 30. That's ridiculous. I told you. I mean, that shows you getting a good coach is not easy to find. That type of stability. We can credit that to the structure of the Steelers. Knowing who they got and knowing who to get. We can credit that absolutely. But it is the moving forward, it's kind of in a little bit of a shaky ground. Because you're also looking at the, like I said, Aaron Rodgers, he might not be back next year. Remember that. Rodgers might not be back next year. And so you're dealing with a potential clean slate that if A-Rod does retire, next thing you know, everything that you're dealing with in terms of the quality of comp that you have to mold into a championship organization is drastically lower. And you might not be getting a whole bunch of picks. Why? Because you had, normally, again, y'all are 8-8, middle of the road, middle of the season. You've got yourself so much consistency that you're always near middle to maybe lower bottom pack of the draft. So it's like, if you do need a quarterback, you may not get it. You ain't trusting Mason Rudolph. You got, you got. I believe you had. Was it Love that you had? You had some young quarterback on your team, while you also had Russell Wilson with that whole debacle. Got rid of Russell Wilson, then you got rid of him as well, and then also now you got A-Rod, an old buddy, trying to go through and working. He can be the guy to take us over the hump. And now if he's gone, you might be starting from the starting blocks, and that ain't good. That is not good at all. I like the Rams, but going to go Chicago in 15-degree weather and supposedly some snow won't help Stafford's passing game. And don't forget, against Carolina, he injured that finger. Part of the reason why he was throwing some of those interceptions and underthrowing the ball, trying to throw to Puka Nacua, and really that nosedive of a passing performance in the second half, in part was because he was hurt. If that lingers into next week, I believe it's next week when they play against Chicago, or this week, when they play against Chicago, and that inflammation starts flaring up and you're also cold and you can't feel the ball, and it's snowing, hey, Caleb Williams and this Bears roster, dare I say, could have the biggest zeal of life that we've seen, especially since they beat Green Bay. And the way that they beat them, my gosh, buddy, everybody's looking at this team and saying, wait a minute now, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Chicago, you're at a point where you ain't been in who knows how many decades. You're at a point where you've been the bottom of the barrel to being some upstart hope that your organization started to bring to you. And now, buddy, if you can beat LA, you beat LA. Next thing you know, the world looks wide open for you. If you're a Bears fan, the world looks wide open for you. It does. I don't care who you got to face after that. You thinking we can beat anybody. You be one of the hottest teams in the league, with the best, at this point in time, one of the most productive wide receivers in the game, if not the best wide receiver outright, arguably, in Puka Nacua, with MVP candidate, potential front runner now with the way that he was able to perform against the likes of Carolina in that nail-biter every game. When you needed him most, he was there. Because if we lost that, sure enough, people are going to be voting for Josh Allen. Sure enough. Now that's most likely he's gonna get that award. Y'all beat him, y'all beat them. Oh, Chicago, you better watch out. It's gonna be nothing but bratwurst and hot dogs wherever you go. In Chicago, yeah, that's what's gonna be said. In Chicago, yeah. That's what that's saying. That's sweeping through the city. Which again, I guarantee you, if they win the Super Bowl, you ain't gonna be hearing yeah. I promise you, you ain't gonna be here. They're gonna be saying it's Chicago. They ain't gonna be saying yeah. They didn't even know. I promise you. I guarantee you, that phrase is gonna switch up real quick. If you know, you know. That phrase is gonna switch up real quick. If they get to the Super Bowl and they win, they ain't gonna be saying yeah. They're gonna be saying it's Chicago. They're gonna be saying something else. And, and, hey, low key, I can't wait. I can't wait for it to happen. Cause I'm telling you, the buzz in the air for that city. And again, Caleb Williams is looking like the not just a savior for that franchise, but he's looking like, boy, we made the right decision getting this butt on this team, because he is turning into not just a local star, but he's turning into a franchise. Turning into is a bad way to say it. He has solidified his title as a franchise player, as a franchise QB. Yes. He's a leader and a playmaker. That buddy, you give him room, he will come through. You give him room, he'll come through. You test him. More often than not, he'll be able to show up and not just battle out with you, but he'll outright beat you. He'll outright outplay you. And when it comes to clutch moments, he can be trusted. LA, you go to Chicago, you better not give him an inch. Because if you do, we could be looking at Chicago getting an upset win against the standing MVP in Matthew Stafford. And all of a sudden, this wide open race gets even wider. This open road of who can host the Lombardi Trophy, the road to silver and gold, it gets a whole lot wider now. It truly does. It's going to be very interesting to see how things may play out. Let me see. They're saying Seahawks are the favorite. And yes, they are. Like I said, I touched on it earlier. So I'm looking at Seattle as, if I'm going to pick somebody, I would pick Seattle as a dangerous threat to win it all. I really would. Some people say Josh Allen and the Bills should be favored because of the fact that there's nobody in the Bills' way. From the standpoint of all the roadblocks that were formerly there. Like there's no Lamar Jackson. There's no Patrick Mahomes. Most of your team is relatively healthy. Outside of, the Stephon Diggs situation that's going to happen after the Super Bowl. If you don't get it done now, everything that we've been saying about you as a quarterback is going to be taken to a mighty big consideration in a negative light. Because it should be an open road for you, Bills Mafia, without the thorn in your side that is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs stopping you from getting to the Super Bowl. Should be. But if you don't get it this time, well, the ire is going to be insane. I guarantee you. It's going to be bad. It's going to be very, very bad if that does indeed take place. Let me see. Rhoda, do you think that that Tank's career is over? So, I am leaning towards the conversation of yes. I'm leaning towards, now again, I don't want to say for certain, because we've seen him be able to make bail, pay out whatever he needs to pay out. Charges get dropped before. Stuff can happen again in light of all this stuff, even with the evidence that they have against him. And he could indeed go to jail this time and it sticks. It could. But I can't say for certain up until we see him in court. I can't say for certain if his career is over or not until we see him in court and we see what happens after the verdict read. Sentences and all, what it can be. Because if it gets thrown at him, legit, and he can't get out, then yeah, I think his career is done. Strongly believe his career is done. But if there is no jail time, just a massive fine, bail gets made and all that stuff, and he's still able to walk out scot-free, yeah, he'll be back. He will. Say, for better or for worse, he will. Going off the track record of what we've seen in the past, he will. Unless the stuff sticks. And until then, the evidence is there. But we've seen how with these types of allegations, how it goes. Sometimes it just doesn't pan out like we think it should. Or like we think it's going to. So All I can say is we got to find out. That's all I can say. We got to sit here and find out. But this is spelling as close to a legitimate end to the career of Tank as we've been from the standpoint of proximity to the actual end is not. This is as close as we've seen to this than anything else that we've seen in his career. Legitimate, hard, absolutely. Let me see. I feel Hitchens is going to duck Smith. He might. Richard Hitchens, he might. I mean, can he afford to? Because remember, after denying that whole Turkey opportunity, when he was getting ready to get $2 million to fight on the Turkey undercard, he's now trying to call out everybody under the sun. Why? Because he is not getting any play from anybody, even as a champion. And he wants money, absolutely. But it's what you get for taking the $700,000 fight with Kambosos instead of going with the other legitimate, bigger, and more substantial fights you could have gotten in the division. Now, Hitchens isn't really that exciting. Fights and style that people don't really want to mess with, as well as from a name perspective and cachet, he has talked himself in and out of most big fights. And Dalton Smith, there's a reason why he's aiming for Shakur and Tia, because he's capitalizing off this momentum that he's gotten right now. I can most likely see him not wasting time with Richardson Hitchens. Unless we see that fight not take to fruition, then now, okay. Yeah, I'll take you on, Hitchens, because you're there. But you're in my focus. Hitchens is nobody's focus right now. That's the thing. He's nobody's at this point in time. He is nobody's focus. I mean, because he's talking about going to 147, the weaker. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Wait a second. Hold on a minute.
Hey, look at this! We got some problems here!
Wait a minute.
We got some problems here!
Hold on. This is news to me. He's saying he wants to move down to 147. I'm sorry. Is this real? Is this real? Am I reading this right? Because he's talking about going down to 147, the weaker division. Are you serious? All right, hold on. Wait a minute. You for real? After all that talk, at 154, after all that talk, you've talked against Devin Haney. You've also talked at Keyshawn Davis. You've also called out everybody under the sun at 154. You've talked all that talk, and now you want to move down to 147. You really aren't about that life, are you, if you're Richard Hitchens? Don't forget this interview years ago about Hitchens saying that he'll fight anybody in the world except for Matias, when Matias was seen as a world beater. Why? Because Matias, that's a huge threat. I'm sorry. I'm thinking. See. Well, and you're right. 140. He's moving up to 147, not moving back down. I misspoke. I'm still thinking on some stuff with Virgil Ortiz. And the boost conversation 154 was in the back of my mind, trying to process other things to potentially talk about. I do apologize. No, moving from 140 to 147 up, which again, yes, moving up, bigger weight division, but outside of Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, it's not really as name recognized. And your division right now, which you are currently still looking like, okay, you can compete very easily at without any real concern, as you just knocked out Kambosos to the body. If that's the case, and you got so many heavy hitters at 140, so many big fights at 140, why don't you stay at 140 and unify and fight at 140 to fight Dalton Smith at 140? Because you said you wouldn't fight Subriel Matias. Now Matias got beat by Smith. Are you going to fight Smith? Is he the new boogeyman now? He's there. He's available. He can make it happen. You're looking for a fight. You want something to take place. Throw your weight around if you got that much power. If you talk like the starter you said that you are, throw your weight around. Let him go. Let him go and fight. Let him go and move through. Let him go and conversate with Smith to attempt to make a championship unification belt. Doesn't make sense why it shouldn't be the case. But if you don't want to do that, you just don't want smoke. You're just running. You're just running. It's been over a year since we've seen him win. Since he's won his title, he's jumped for joy in the center of the ring like a shrimp that landed on a hot skillet. Like a fish that got put in a wok, getting ready to be cooked. You then went through and fought Kambosos. You beat him. You knocked him out. Hey, you showed me something with power that I didn't think that you had. Great. And afterwards, you done nothing else but call out people and not take fights. Like I said, that's why I'm not high on Richard Hitchens. From a style to as well as how he moves outside the ring, I'm not high on him. Because the brother doesn't move like a champion that we should see build up, not just his name, but his talent. I'm not seeing it. You got to work. And you ain't working. You're running. You ain't working, you're running. If you are Hitchens right now, you're not working, you're running. And because you're running, you are wasting our time. You're wasting our time. You're wasting our time. You want to fight? You want a unification? You want to stop having some downtime? Go fight Smith. Go fight Smith. And if you do that, hey, it'll be great. No problem. Absolutely. I can't wait to see. But we're about to get on and get out of here as we're almost at we almost at 2 hours and 30 minutes. So we're going to start to wrap it up and send home last couple comments. And then we're going to go and end off this show. Elva Tehran is fighting on the Bakram undercard. Yep, she is fighting on the Bakram undercard as the co-main event. So we're probably going to see two people knocking folks out on the same night. So be prepared to watch Elfa and Bakram on, I believe, January 30. Is it the 30th or 29th? One of the two coming through and putting on great performances that can lead to big fights down the line. I can't wait for it. I'm excited to see it. And I guarantee you, both of them are going to put on a show, Elfa as well as Bakram. So be sure to tune in for that fight as well. But we're going to go and get ready for tomorrow afternoon. And we're going to end this show off with a bang right here with you all. And it's been a phenomenal time. It's been a phenomenal show. We appreciate all you tuning in. But with all of that being said, this has been another episode of The Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to this show. Please leave a like on the stream before you get on out of here. Comment your thoughts and opinions on what you liked and didn't like about the show. Keep on sharing the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire of a community together. Also be sure to go ahead and leave a like on the video, comment your thoughts and opinions, subscribe to the channel, share the show with everybody that you know. Go through Rated 5 Stars on every podcasting platform. If you would like to support the channel, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description as well as super chats, super gifts, stickers, and whatnot. Any amount can do to help support this channel, help us grow to be bigger, better, and stronger, all for your viewing and listening pleasure, and to help me pay the bills along the way. But it's been a phenomenal time. Thank you all for tuning into the show, and thank you all who donated to the show as well. Oh, we got to also make sure that we do the championship rounds, or not championship rounds, the top fans, the pound fans for this show. At number 5 was Johnny Blaze. At number 4, Gail Anderson. At number 3 was Boxing Academy. At number 2, I've been voted. At number 1 was Timmy T for the chats on today. Timmy T, you are the pound for pound number 1 chatter on this show per YouTube rankings as I'm being off right now. Can you hold on to that top spot? We're going to find out come tomorrow afternoon at 12 o'clock, same time, same place, same channel. No question about it. Please be able to listen to us on every platform imaginable, Apple, Spotify, and after this show goes off the air. And hey, I've been John McWelch. You all have been wonderful. Peace and love. We are out here. Yes, sir. We're going to see you all on Friday. Be safe. Be blessed. And we out.